Phoenix Audio presents
An Evening with Garrison Keillor and Friends.
My name is Calvin Trillin. I'm the host for this evening. I was told to read something short and then get on with it. The emphasis on short. So I'll read something that I think is appropriate to the effort being made by what we're here to benefit tonight. Ronald and Nancy Reagan will now, this was written in January of 1989. They're no longer in office. Ronald and Nancy Reagan will now be living in the Bel Air section of Los Angeles at what used to be 666 St. Cloud Drive. I read in the newspaper that the Reagans, who, as we all know, are just a tiny bit superstitious, arranged to have the address changed because in the Bible, 666 is the number of the devil. This is true. So their house's new address will be 668 St. Cloud Drive. That's all okay, except now where's the devil supposed to live? I realize that all this is not the sort of thing that concerns President Reagan. He never seemed particularly alarmed about people sleeping on the streets, so he's not likely to spend a lot of his retirement time worrying about where the Prince of Darkness lays his head. Cardinal John O'Connor of New York asked Reagan the other day about criticism that his administration had made virtually no effort at all to build housing for the homeless. This was when the president was a guest at the Cardinal's television show, just before receiving an award in New York from the Knights of Malta of America, which was described in the newspaper as an organization dedicated to serving the sick and the poor. Reagan explained to the Cardinal that most of the people who live on the street are there because they prefer that way of life. It must be comforting to have such certainty that anyone who seems to be suffering while you thrive is suffering because he wants to be. I wouldn't have thought, though, that it was the sort of attitude that could get you an award from an organization devoted to serving the poor. Particularly if you're someone who gives virtually nothing to charity and is fond of answering any question about people on the dole by one more telling of the story about the woman in California who picks up her welfare check in a Cadillac. On the other hand, maybe the Knights were just trying to be patriotic. Citizens who do manage to convince themselves that homeless people prefer to be homeless.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?